Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu, and this is Creepy Creek for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic, another custom scenario from Lurker. Located next to an old graveyard, your task is to build a small park along a creek. Your objective to have at least 800 guests in your park at the end of October year 2 with a park rating of at least 600. So an easy one then. I have been away for a while, so this is meant to be a nice simple one to get me back into it, and it was also kind of meant to be a Halloween one, but we're a little bit late for that, so don't worry about that. Okay, we are charging for entry. So I think what I'll do with this then, I'm going to put the price up to 40. Hopefully we can build rides quick enough that we don't trigger any negative awards for the park being terrible value. But the general idea behind that is I don't want the park filling up with guests that are only paying £5 or £10 or whatever. I want guests basically to not come in until the park is worth paying the £40, and then for them all to come in, and hopefully I can make a lot more money that way. A few transport rides, a lot of gentle rides. That's pretty cool. A lot of coasters, loads of thrill rides, loads of water rides. No kiosk. Okay, so let's put our research into shops then. Hopefully we'll get a kiosk out. So we've got, it's not a huge scenario, but it's more than big enough for what we need. We only need 800 guests, and we've got plenty of time to do that. So I think what we'll do is we'll just start building out some nice little park loops, putting down some rides on the inside, leaving some space on the outside for bigger rides, and just see how we get off. The fact that we're charging for entry as opposed to the rides themselves means that I am going to want to focus on cheaper rides, because if we spend a ton of cash on a massive coaster, we're probably never going to get that back. So anyway, I'm going to crack on. I will see you soon. October year 1, 379 guests in the park, and we've got the green arrow, so that number is going up. So we come in then, we've got some shops, we've got a haunted house just down there, we've got the flying saucer ride, we've got a splat, no, we've got a water coaster, I'll show you that in a minute, some more shops, some nice little pav loops, we've got the circus, we've got a motion simulator, we've got some bridges going across the creek, and we've got a wooden wild mouse just here. It's called Creek Squeak. So decent stats on that. We got a 3D cinema up there. We got a spiral slide. We've got a Ferris wheel. So we've got loads of cheap and cheerful rides. So the wooden wild mouse then, it comes up, it goes across. I needed that. I didn't want the chain lift to be quite up there, but I needed it for the drop. Otherwise, the stats would have been lower. So, but as it is, it's worked out okay. And then over here, then with Swamp Cruise, decent stats on that. So it just comes down, up and over, back around, under the bridge. So I terraformed slightly over here in order to fit it in. It looks all right, I think. And then comes back up to the station. A lot of sick there, so I'm going to have to put down some extra handy people. So we've got our research in on roller coasters. I noticed we had, I think it was an Enterprise came out, so that tells me that we finished researching shops and it's gone on to something else. And if we look in the shops, what you'll see is no kiosk, which is a pain because it is raining a lot. So that's one of the reasons why I've got so many rides that guests should go on when it rains, like the haunted house, the circus, and the 3D cinema. Yeah, I've also left gaps. If you can see next to the toilet, there's a gap left there, like I normally do for for kiosks and stuff. But we're not getting them out. So I've put a balloon in the gap just down there. I was going to put some up here where those trees probably are. We could always add the cash machine we do have one of those there, but we only need 800 guests. And so, oh, it's going to rain. I'll explain this later on. October year 2. So before I was so rudely interrupted by the rain, I was going to explain the idea behind not having cash machines. So I think because it's only 800 guests that we need, if I put cash machines down, then a lot of the guests who are in the park are just going to use the cash machine and then stay in the park, as opposed to leaving when they run out of cash. Now, if they leave, another guest should get generated to come in, and that'll get me £40. Whereas if they take money out of the cash machine, they're only really going to be spending money on food, drinks, balloons, and merch, maybe an on-ride photo, that sort of thing. So the idea behind it should be okay. If we were in danger of not achieving the guest goal, if the guest goal was a lot higher, we probably would put down a cash machine. So anyway, we have got 11 days left, and we've got a looping coaster just up here. It's called the Grim Looper. So yeah, as I said, it was meant to be a Halloween episode, but I just kind of wasn't feeling it last week. So it's been delayed to this week. So for those unaware, I was very ill at the start of, I think it was August into September, coughing a lot. So there was no way of me doing videos. And then at the start of October, I lost my dad. So that's kind of why I haven't done any videos for a while. So we've got probably an inappropriate coaster name, actually, considering. Anyway, we've got the Spiralica. So maybe the theme for this park is like really sort of cheap and nasty horror movies. Yeah, so let's have a look. So decent stats on that. And then over here, then we've got a limb coaster. I needed something for this area of the park. It came out, and I just thought, why not? So it boosts out into a corkscrew, little airtime hill, and then interaction, and then back down. I did want to have a half loop just down here, but there wasn't really a way of getting it to fit and make it look good. And I didn't want to risk it crashing. So, that's kind of the thought process behind that. We've got loads of fences and things like that down around the place. We've got an enterprise just over here. So I've redone the ground there. I think it looks quite nice the way that the bricks are just down by there. Yeah, I think the park looks all right, to be honest. It has turned out quite nice. It's a shame that we haven't got the kiosks, because that umbrella cash would be pretty sweet. I did repay the loan at the end of I think it was at the end of the first year or start of the second year. I think we had like a 12,000 loan, and I had about 13,000 in the bank. So I figured we'd pay that back, because the amount of interest we were paying, I mean, it's not huge, but I just figured, we're making decent cash. Ooh, why not? The rain has been annoying, I've got to be honest. So it's one of the reasons, as I said, for the rides that guests should go on when it rains. But other than that, a nice, fun little scenario from Lurker. So I must have missed all these the first time around, so I'm enjoying going back to them now. And similar with Radrian, the actual theming, the scenario, the landscaping, things like that, always looks superb. Maybe if we turn off hide, can we hide rides? Can we hide scenery? Just so you can get like a better view. It does look pretty nice around here. Yeah, so definitely a fan. We'll be checking out more. I do have, I am in the middle of a regular scenario from the main campaign that I was in the process of doing. So I'm gonna have to go back to that one. It would have taken me a lot longer to finish that one and do the video than starting a new one. So yeah, that's why I did this. So yeah, let's have a look. What about when we look at this one first off then? So this has been Creepy Creek, another fun custom scenario from Lurker. I will put the link in the video description, so feel free to check that out. I've been Stu. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.